Have you ever promised yourself that tomorrow would be different? Tomorrow you'll wake up earlier. Tomorrow you'll focus. Tomorrow you'll finally start that habit you've been delaying. But tomorrow comes, and somehow nothing changes. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe the motivation isn't there. Maybe the day just feels heavier than expected. And slowly, a quiet frustration begins to grow inside you. You start wondering, why do I keep falling back into the same patterns? Why does progress feel so difficult? The truth is simple, but powerful: motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls with emotions, moods, and circumstances. But discipline over motivation, the habit that changes everything, is what truly builds a life of stability, growth, and inner peace. Today we're going to explore why discipline, not motivation, is the quiet force that transforms your life. Many people believe they must feel inspired before they can act. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect energy, or the perfect moment to begin. But motivation is emotional, and emotions change constantly. Some mornings you feel focused and hopeful, ready to take on anything. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or uncertain about yourself. If your actions depend on how you feel, your progress will always rise and fall with your emotions. Have you ever noticed how quickly motivation fades after the first challenge appears? The moment something feels uncomfortable, the mind begins searching for easier alternatives. Discipline works differently. Discipline is structural. It creates a system that removes the daily debate in your mind. Instead of asking yourself whether you feel like doing something, discipline quietly answers the question for you. The task is done because it is part of your routine, part of the person you are becoming. Over time, this structure begins to strengthen your sense of stability. You stop negotiating with yourself every day. Your actions become calmer, steadier, and more predictable. This consistency is deeply powerful because it slowly reshapes your identity. Instead of being someone who waits for motivation, you become someone who honors commitments regardless of mood. That shift may seem small, but it changes everything. Progress becomes less dramatic but far more reliable, and with that reliability comes a quiet sense of self-respect and inner peace. Your mind is naturally drawn toward comfort. This is not weakness, it is simply how the human brain is designed. The mind prefers safety, familiarity, and immediate reward. When something requires effort or uncertainty, your brain instinctively tries to protect you by choosing the easier path. That is why scrolling through your phone feels easier than reading a difficult book, why delaying a task feels easier than starting it, and why comfort often wins in the moment. But comfort has a hidden cost. When comfort becomes the default response to every challenge, it slowly reduces your confidence and sense of purpose. The mind begins to associate effort with stress instead of growth. Discipline interrupts this pattern. Discipline gently trains the mind to tolerate discomfort without panic or avoidance. Each time you choose to act despite resistance, your brain learns that effort is not a threat but a pathway to progress. Over time, something remarkable begins to happen. What once felt difficult starts to feel normal. Small acts of discipline accumulate quietly in the background of your life. Waking up when you plan to wake up, completing tasks even when they are not exciting, showing patience when emotions rise. These choices may seem minor in isolation, but together they reshape the way you see yourself. Instead of feeling controlled by comfort, you begin to feel guided by intention. And that shift restores a deep sense of confidence and emotional stability. When we repeatedly break promises to ourselves, something subtle begins to change inside us. At first it feels small, almost unnoticeable. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow, wake up earlier, focus on your goals, or take better care of your responsibilities. But tomorrow comes and the promise quietly disappears. This pattern may seem harmless in the moment, yet over time it slowly weakens the relationship you have with yourself. The mind begins to doubt your own intentions. You may still dream about improvement, but a quiet voice begins asking whether you will actually follow through. This is where discipline becomes deeply important. Discipline is not only about productivity or achievement, it is about rebuilding trust with yourself. Each time you complete something you promised yourself, even a small commitment, you reinforce a powerful message inside your mind. You begin to believe your own words again. The smallest actions can begin this process: finishing a task you plan to finish, keeping a daily routine, or choosing patience when frustration appears. These acts may not look dramatic from the outside, but internally they rebuild self-respect. Over time, this quiet reliability becomes a foundation for confidence. You no longer feel like someone who constantly starts and stops. Instead, you become someone who follows through. And when self-trust grows, emotional stability grows with it, allowing you to approach life with greater clarity and dignity. Many people struggle not because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity, but because their minds become trapped in endless thinking. Overthinking creates a constant stream of questions and doubts. You think about the best moment to begin, the perfect strategy, the possible outcomes, and the potential mistakes that might occur. While reflection can be valuable, too much thinking can become a barrier to action. Have you ever noticed how overthinking makes simple decisions feel complicated? The mind begins to imagine every possibility, and that mental noise creates hesitation. Hesitation then leads to delay, and delay often creates frustration with yourself. Discipline offers a powerful way to interrupt this cycle. When your life contains disciplined routines, many decisions are already made in advance. You do not wake up each day debating whether you should begin something important. Instead, the structure you created guides your actions. This reduces the mental effort required to start. Rather than relying on sudden bursts of motivation, you simply follow the pattern you have built. Over time, this structure quiets the mind. The energy that once went into debating and worrying becomes available for progress and creativity. As discipline reduces the need for constant decision-making, your thoughts begin to feel calmer and more organized. This clarity brings a form of stress relief that many people rarely experience. Life becomes less chaotic because your actions become steady, and steady actions gradually create steady peace within the mind. People often wait for a big moment to change their lives. They imagine a sudden surge of motivation, a dramatic decision, or a powerful realization that transforms everything overnight. But real change rarely works that way. The most meaningful transformation usually comes from small, repeated actions that slowly reshape your habits and identity. At first these actions may feel ordinary. Waking up when you plan to wake up. Completing a task even when it feels boring. Choosing patience instead of reacting emotionally. These moments may seem insignificant on their own, yet they quietly build momentum. Each small act of discipline sends a signal to your mind about who you are becoming. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who struggles to stay consistent, you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. Over time, that shift in identity becomes stronger than motivation. You are no longer chasing inspiration, you are building a lifestyle rooted in consistency. And as these discipline habits accumulate, your confidence grows in a steady and grounded way, because your progress is no longer dependent on temporary emotions but on choices you repeat every day. Many people think discipline is harsh or restrictive, as if it removes freedom from life. In reality, the opposite is often true. When there is little discipline in daily life, responsibilities begin to pile up. Important tasks are delayed, decisions become rushed, and the mind fills with unfinished obligations. This creates a constant background stress that quietly drains your energy. Discipline helps bring order where there was confusion. When you develop clear routines and structured habits, many of these pressures begin to ease. You know when certain things will be handled, and you no longer carry the weight of endless postponement. This structure reduces mental clutter and creates space for calm thinking. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything you must do, you begin to experience a sense of rhythm in your life. That rhythm supports both productivity and emotional balance. Discipline also protects your time and attention from distractions that slowly erode focus. As your habits become stronger, your environment becomes more stable and predictable. In that stability, many people discover something surprising: discipline does not take away peace, it quietly protects it. Life will always bring moments that test your resolve. There will be days when plans fall apart, when rejection appears unexpectedly, or when your energy feels lower than usual. During those moments, motivation often disappears first. When motivation fades, many people feel stuck or discouraged because they depended on that feeling to move forward. Discipline offers something more stable. When you have built disciplined habits, your progress does not rely on temporary emotional states. Even on difficult days, the routine you created continues guiding your actions. You may move slower, but you still move. This steady movement builds emotional resilience. Each time you continue despite discomfort, You teach your mind that obstacles are part of growth rather than signals to stop. Over time, your response to challenges changes. Instead of reacting with frustration or avoidance, you respond with patience and persistence. That quiet persistence becomes a form of inner strength that allows you to navigate uncertainty with greater stability and confidence. Confidence is often misunderstood as a personality trait or a sudden feeling of certainty. In reality, lasting confidence develops through repeated evidence. Every time you follow through on a commitment, complete a task despite resistance, or maintain a routine when motivation fades, you create proof for your own mind. This proof gradually changes the way you see yourself. Instead of hoping you are capable, you begin to know it through experience. Discipline builds this evidence step by step. It transforms intentions into visible action, and visible action strengthens belief in your own ability to grow. Over time, these small demonstrations of commitment accumulate into a strong foundation of self-belief. You begin approaching challenges with greater calm because you trust your ability to respond with effort and patience. That trust becomes a powerful source of stability, allowing you to pursue meaningful goals without constantly questioning your capacity to achieve them. Motivation can start the journey, but only discipline can carry it forward. When you build discipline habits, you no longer wait for the perfect moment. You create progress through patience, responsibility, and steady effort. And slowly, something remarkable happens. The life you once imagined begins to take shape. Because discipline over motivation, the habit that changes everything, is not about perfection. It is about commitment. And every day you choose discipline, you move one step closer to peace, growth, and purpose. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts below. How are you healing and growing today? Your journey matters.